Welcome to my daily review. Today is Thursday, May 22, and you can see this is a daily chart of the Nasdaq where we're going to start the review today. The Nasdaq has not really done much, and that's a good thing. Since last week, you could see the Monday, Tuesday spurt, and you can see it moves in spurts, and that's what happens in an uptrend. It just goes in spurts, and it goes sideways, and it has these what could be termed a follow through day or whatever, where it goes up 1, 2, 3% and then goes sideways. Last Monday it was up more than 4%. Tuesday followed through 1.6%. Then on Wednesday it started, ran out of buyers, essentially closed at 19,146. We've just been going kind of back and forth ever since. Yesterday we had this pull back to the 10. I'm on the 10 EMA, but it's still, roughly trading around 19,000 and just kind of going sideways, forming a shelf. Today was just an inside day, just a quiet day. The volume is going a little wacky because of these penny stocks that are being bought. There's 5 or 6 or 8 penny stocks that people are going berserk on, but we're not trading those, and we're just kind of minding the Nasdaq. And you could see the 10 EMA is finally caught up here as the market goes sideways. So, the index can correct either through price or through time. And right now it's just been, what did I say? Last Wednesday was this. So it's been a little over a week, about 6 sessions. Give it some time. There's a lot of leading growth stocks that are looking like this. So I'm thinking that maybe after a week, maybe not next week, but the week after, the first week of June, form some handles here, shake some people out. I'm not going to say fools or jokers. We're just going to shake some people out, and people get really negative as it pulls back, and then it'll rip higher, hopefully with you and not without you. But you can see the 21 here has traded through the 50, and now it's about to trade through the 200. So this is all bullish stuff. I know the close wasn't great today. If you want to take a look, it's a 53-point move. 0.28%, close at 18,925. Yesterday we lost 270 and only got back 50, so people are whining about that. But you're looking for the bigger move. And so you just got to be patient. The market's going to test your patience. It's going to test your discipline. And do you have that? I mean, it's it's going to find out here pretty soon. If you're trading in and out, the rug pull at the end there today, that's, right here, the last, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, where the market sold off into the close. And this is what, you got this waterfall air pocket yesterday. But overall, if you just take a look at the daily, it's just trading sideways, allowing the moving averages to catch up. This is all really bullish, and I'm more interested in stocks, and I'm going to get there in a minute. But I have to go through earnings because I'm really encouraged that the earnings reports are being rewarded now. During this earnings season, April, May, we've seen a lot of stocks take off with the good earnings reports. And today we had one from Snowflake, which delivered, the goods for investors here, 71% earnings growth that had this cup with handle pattern. Now, just take a look at this little shelf here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, 8, 9 days, and then all of a sudden it popped on a new data point. Well, not every stock's going to have an earnings report, but you're going to see a lot of this in the charts that I show you today. And some of them actually moved, like Snowflake. This one was up 13% on the earnings report, but others will move. They don't need, news, especially, they might just go up, on an upgrade or, there might be news too. I mean, contracts or upgrades or, the administration being more business friendly on tariffs or whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, this type of chart here, pay attention to that. Stocks that run up, from 120 to 184, that's what, 60, that's like a 50% move, then trade sideways. You got to be mindful of those. Those are the ones that can really pay off. All right, enough of Snowflake. It's too warm. It's almost summertime here, so we're not going to have any snowflakes around here. This is Urban Outfitters. Very few retailers are doing well right now. Urban, 23% move, 68% earnings growth. So a big surprise there for Urban Outfitters. And let's take a look at the weekly here. I just want to see one thing right here. Yeah, 17% return on equity, 5.6, excuse me, $5.60 cash flow. So that's respectable cash flow, respectable return on equity. Nice balance sheet for Urban, and you can see how it kind of moves here. Consolidates, rises up, consolidates, rises up, consolidates. This is yeah, nice cup base on base pattern, trades up, consolidates, and now rises. Some people call that, a stair stepper type of, move because it rises up, then goes sideways, then it rises up, then goes sideways, up and sideways. So you have to kind of be in the earnings call to make the money. So people don't like that stair stepper, but that's the way it moves. Just recognize each stock has its own personality. And congrats to the longs there with Urban if you stuck in there. Because there hasn't been a lot of good news from the retailers, not enough anyway. All right, so that was last night. This morning we heard from a few companies, including BJ Wholesale Club. Not a bad report, 34% earnings growth, but it just went flat, pulled back to its 50 there, and then found support. And I wouldn't get too excited about, this particular move if you own BJ. This thing looks fine. If you're looking longer term, this thing's been a big winner for a long time. So, you know, if earnings moves are just wacky. I wouldn't be surprised to see this make a new high pretty soon on that kind of a report. But anyway, it didn't do much today. Ralph Lauren, here's this cup-shaped pattern. Needs a little more time to kind of shake some folks out. Up 1% today, not bad. I didn't even look at the report. ADI, I did. I had some people commenting to me on Twitter, this is a fake company. The numbers are fake. I have no idea about analog devices, but not a good move today. Down nearly 5%. But just pull back to its 21. So any stock that's coming down to its 21, it's fine. I mean, stocks are going to do that. Of course, you want to hold stocks that are trading above their 5 EMA, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But, down to the 21 is not the end of the world. Below the 21 is something different. Then I got to cut some stuff loose. But yeah, at the 21 on an earnings move, because they did deliver, sales and earnings growth. So not bad for ADI, but the one I wanted to highlight today was AAP. This is Advanced Auto Parts. Man, what a move. You could see this retail wholesale auto part is a top 12 group. So I don't know if people are thinking that they're going to, I don't know, fix their cars, work on their cars instead of buying a new one because the prices are going up due to tariffs. I don't know what the thought process behind it. All I know is the stock was up 57% today. That's the biggest move this stock has probably ever made. That's a hell of a move there on massive volume. And, I don't know. I don't get it because the earnings wasn't that great. It's just they just said that going forward that the tariffs were not going to bother them. So that's kind of what Wall Street wants to hear right now. That tariffs are still a big deal, and they've been mentioned on all the conference calls. But you can see here, this thing's been in a clear downtrend for a long time, and now popped 40%. So probably some short covering there. If you yeah, you got to get out if you're short. I mean, the thing was down at 29, now at 49. Geez, that's a hell of a move. So congrats to the longs at Advanced Auto Parts. I also noticed that, some of the other car-related stocks perked up, did pretty well today, but we're looking here, and this is the kind of chart that I'm talking about. This is Carvana. Came straight up from 148, right? In a very short period of time. That's got to be what, April 7th, right? Around that time. Yeah, April 7th, 148. So it ran up here to 311. That's a big move. And now it's just gone sideways here. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 sessions. Pulled back to the 10, popped a little bit today. Still near that 292.84 buy point though. I could call that that's within, 5% easily. So let it go sideways for another week or two, form a handle, let it pull back to the 21. Who cares? 292 that would be a good entry here. But this is what I'm saying. Stocks that have been rallying up hard are now going sideways. They're not giving it all back. They're not retreating back to their 50 or slicing their 50. They're just going sideways. This is very healthy action here for the stock market and these leading stocks. CAR, this is Avis budget, and then this one popped. I guess on advanced auto parts news. I didn't see any news on this thing, but anyway, nice pop off the 10. This thing's just riding the 10 EMA. I talk about this all the time. And trend traders, love stocks like this because they're consistently finding support at the moving average. So pretty easy stock to, sell the rip and buy the dip consistently over and over again. If you just focus on, one or two or three stocks and you can trade them that way. All right, that's it for the earnings report from last night and this morning. I've just got to get to some stocks here because I had some people you kind of not harassing me, just people are weird. They're just stocks, okay? And if I want to invest in DoorDash, I'm going to do that. And the reason why I don't care what DoorDash does day to day, week to week, month to month. If you buy them, this is the gift of buying something in a retirement account for longer term is you don't have to worry about the daily or weekly or monthly or quarterly wiggles. You just, I'm looking at this yearly chart. I'm looking at the business of DoorDash, and I think they're going to be strong going forward. And this is a nice IPO basis. This is 3 years or more, right? This is 2021. I believe so. It's been basing for like 4 years. Yeah. So I don't care if it goes up or down. I've got it in a retirement account. I think longer term, 3, 4, 5 years, DoorDash is going to be higher. Yeah, it's got a double bottom base. It's down this week. It's marginally. It's another one of these stocks that have come up from what 155 to 200. That's a nice little, 25% move. We'll take that all day long. But it's just kind of going sideways here. It's not doing anything. It allowed the 10 to catch up here. You could see 5, 6, 7 trading sessions. And it's just surfing along the 10, not doing anything wrong on the daily chart, not doing anything wrong on the weekly chart. And the monthly is why I bought it. And, the business model, I think they're going to be around for a long time. Not as much cash flow as I would like, not as much return on equity, but it's still a young company. And that's why that IPO base looks the way it does. Another one is Dutch Bros. I don't really care. Dutch Bros went down the last few days. Who cares? It's down 7% this week. I don't really care. Why? Well, because this is the IPO base where it was like 81 or something like that, 80, 70, yeah, 81. And then it had this big, well, with the bear market, then it came out of the bear market. Now, the last couple of months, it pulled back. There's a lot of stocks did. It's up 14% this month. I don't really care though. I'm looking longer term. They might report a bad quarter. I mean, I don't want to see two bad quarters, but if, growth is not going to be linear, and if you plan on holding it in a retirement account for long term, I don't really care. Cash flow, it's not there yet. It's a young company. They're still growing, spending a lot of money to grow. But return on equity is 19%. That's pretty damn good for a company that's growing like this. And the last one I want to show is Robinhood. This is one that I had done the same thing, same profile. Look at these IPO charts. 85, right before the bear market, and did everything like all the other stocks, sold off during the bear market, made the bottom. And then with the bull market, it's had a nice uptrend. It's up 31% this month. Great. Um, Sold off a couple months prior in February, March, like everything else. So not doing anything wrong. I don't care about the daily, the weekly. And that's the beauty of buying a retirement account, just putting it away and just. So these are the stocks that I've been doing this with, Robinhood, TGTX, Bros, Dash. These are some of the stocks that I think are going to be strong over time. And another one is Rubric. Now, I could be wrong on Rubric. Heck, I don't know. But I think this has been a real powerhouse stock. I wanted a cybersecurity stock, and I wanted, a leaner, meaner one, and not one of these ones that have already, mature like Palo Alto Networks or Fortinet. It's up by 29% this month, and this one has been riding the the five. I gotta switch now to the five because I'm going to leading stocks. If you didn't notice. Leading stocks are switch from earnings to leading stock. Stocks I like. Stocks are at the bottom of the page on mcstockcharts.com every morning. Those are the stocks that are trending above their moving averages. So that's, as a trend trader, that's what you want. Since the low of 47.35, I mean, this thing's been, nearly a two bagger here, up to 92 today. But just more importantly, I think, is that every time it pulls back to the five, it finds support, and then it bounces and it, comes back to the five, and then it bounces. So it's like a magnet, and then now it's what it closed 3.4% above the five. So, if you're one of these people who are going to sell the rip and buy the dip, you wait, maybe it'll dip tomorrow or next week. But overall, that thing is just trending higher. Do I care? Not really. I mean, I'm more looking more like this and down the road. And I point out on this, this doesn't have cash flow return on equity. This is just a young company, but it's got they're taking market share. It's got the sales and earnings growth that I like, and I think that'll continue for a while. All of these, high valuation, high multiple stocks are seeing their multiples expand in this uptrend. And of course, they're going to be called overvalued. That's what happens in an uptrend. And they stay overvalued for a long time until, the market swings and we go into a bear market and the multiples contract. And then these stocks get cut in half or more. And that's just the nature of the beast. All right. I'm going to go through some other leading stocks here. This is one that I've had on my ready list. Now, this is why I think it's going to take a week or two for these stocks. This is, run straight up from the bottom, right? 252 to 458. So nice $200 gain, but it needs to go sideways here. I know it's, surfing with the five, and maybe it doesn't need a handle. Maybe it'll just keep going higher. Apparently that's what it wants to do, but it wouldn't surprise me to just see it kind of go sideways for a week or so. And that's kind of what I'm looking at with these names here. CrowdStrike, same thing, just kind of going sideways here. Ran up from 298 up to what, 451. That's a huge move. And now it's just digesting gains. And we're seeing a lot of this type of stock and what I would call these leading growth stocks. This is Uber, went from 60 to, I don't know, 93. It's a big move. And now it's just pulling back. So it's got that, standard buy point at 87. It's trading just a tick above it. You can see it's been consolidating for a long, long time. I mean, it was 81, $82 back in February of 24. We're here more than what, 15 months later, and it's just at 88. So maybe it'll just trade sideways for another week or so. And that's what I'm thinking because I'm seeing a lot of this with a lot of these stocks. And I'm going to get back to that, but I want to talk about one of the stocks on the ready list, which CrowdStrike was on the ready list, but this is IONQ, which was on our ready list this week. Did I buy it? No, I did not. I don't know. Nobody on Twitter, said, "Hey, I got this one. Thanks a lot. This thing's moving great." Yeah, 36% percent move today. I was looking at their weekly options and it only goes up to 48. And the thing traded over 48 today. So those options paid nicely. Their calls, yeah. But anything up 36%, you're likely to see some profit taking tomorrow. And so within that group, these do not trade, they don't meet my criteria for the morning leading stock group, but Rigetti was up 26%. That's a nice move in a day. This is a D wave, is up 23, 24%. So the quantum stocks had a good day today. So yeah, it happens from time to time. Somebody must have said something, but I just wanted to point that out. Some of our, stocks, so GEV and CrowdStrike and DoorDash and IONQ that have been on the ready list, some of them actually hit. Here's another one that I like, AppLovin. It's doing the same thing, right? Ran up from the lows, what, 200 to, well, I don't know, 360. And now it's making this bull wedge pattern. It's not going to continue to do this. If I switched it back to the 10, you would see it pulled back to the 10, but I don't want to keep toggling back and forth here. Take my word for it. AS, this one reported earnings earlier in the week. Capped higher, now holding its gains, holding that low from the gap day, which is what you want to see on these gaps. That's what I watch for anyway. The low is 35.60, so that one is acting well. MicroStrategy, not so much. They diluted so much stock. Bitcoin, I've got to talk about Bitcoin a little bit because Robinhood was up today and MicroStrategy is down when Bitcoin hit like 112,000. And so to me, this thing is, even though it's doing what a lot of those leading stocks are doing, it should be going higher with Bitcoin trading the way it is. Coinbase, tethered to a little bit to the price of Bitcoin was up 5%, and then the other monster that's on our leading stock list, not the leading stock list, the relative strength criteria that I show every morning. CEP, I'm not really a fan of the blank check, these specs, but this is tethered to Bitcoin up 16%. And that's what you want to see when Bitcoin rallies like that. You want to see your stock move. 16% is nice. This is another exchange traded fund here that you could also use, up 2.3%. Nice little base there for IBIT. All right, I digress. I went off on my Bitcoin tangent. I'm just going through some leading stocks here, trying to. Anyway, Palantir is doing exactly what you want it to do, pulling back, making this little bull wedge pattern, and people get excited. It went over 125 today or 126 or whatever it was. This thing has not made its move yet. The standard buy point's 125.25. I mean, it traded up there today, but then sold off like everything else into the close, and that's okay. Let it go sideways, folks. This is the type of market that's in an uptrend, and everybody wants it to be go, go, go every day, but it's not going to do that. It's going to digest gains, and you need to be patient. You need to be disciplined. You don't just jump on every little, move, every shining object. Just stick with the process, stick with your system. Don't go crazy just because it goes up a little bit. I think it's going to trade above the high in the handle, which is at 133.49. Just give it some time. Palantir looks fine to me. I mentioned Uber. Oh, HIMS I got to get to because this one is a wild one. So it went from 23 to 65, 66, whatever it was. 23 on April 4th. And then, of course, Liberation Day or whatever. Everything has been rallying, right? So this thing rallied like, gosh, almost a three bagger, all right, in about a month. Okay. So it just ran out of buyers, right? This looks like a short squeeze to me. I mean, the shorts are just getting out, right? Day after day, they're getting out. And so when that ends, I'd said that it looks like it could go either way and probably going lower because this is getting really wide here and it's a little indecision. And now you're seeing this, the 5 EMA curl down. So to me, that tells me to stay away. Even though it's in a trend, the 21 and the 5 are through the 50 and the 50 and the 200 are trending north. It just needs some time, for just put it in timeout. Like you put your kid in timeout, just put it in timeout for a little bit. I know it's a great day trading vehicle because it moves a lot intraday. And you could see that today with the gap down, then rallied up, then down. So, people love trading stuff like that. And even when it's down, it rallies up, then it rallies up and then it trades down. But it is in this kind of like I wouldn't say a downtrend. It's not in a downtrend at all. Just short term with that 5 curling lower, I would just stay away for now. But it'll correct. It'll correct. I don't think it's going to do what it did here at the first part of the year, but just keep watching it. The 21 today was at the 50.54, going up what, like 30 cents a day or something. Yeah. So you just give it some time. Once again, you got to be patient. That's a real wild mover. So yeah, when the 5 starts curling down like that on these real, Momo stocks, you gotta avoid them. They could be harmful to your portfolio. Credo Tech. This is another one that's on, I believe, yeah, the relative strength list that I post every morning. I'm just kind of going through that list right now, and the reason why is because they're moving averages, right? The 5, the 21 have rallied through the 200, and this is doing the same thing, right? The last what, 6, 7 sessions. It's just going sideways. It made this high of 61.44 on May 14th. What's the date today? I said it was the 22nd. So it's been over a week now, 6, 7 sessions. Just going sideways. Still right there, 61, 62. It's fine. Let it do that. I mean, let it do it for another week or two. Who cares? You just don't want to see them crashing through the 21. So this is all very healthy. NBIS is another one that's on the list. And this one, really rallied hard. I think it had earnings earlier this week and that now pulled back to the 5. And you like to see support at the 5. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with NBIS. OKLO looks like a little bit of short squeeze going on here with OKLO. But once again, rallied off the lows, 17, up to what, 40. And now it's just going sideways for the last three, four, five, six, 8 sessions. So just let it go sideways. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's definitely going to poke through 40 here pretty soon. When it wants to, when it decides on its own time and not when you want it to. So, anyway, OKLO is another one of these strong stocks that are on this relative strength list. Roblox, same thing. Obviously, made this breakout from the cup with handle. Now this is going sideways for the last, I don't know, $80 there on the 15th, two, three, 4, 5, 6 sessions, and now it's at 82. It's kind of 81, going sideways there. Let it do it for another week or two. And that's kind of my theme for this week. This is a rest week on the Nasdaq, and it's the rest week for a lot of these stocks. And next week could be the same thing. So don't get too impatient because, like I say, it moves in spurts. And when it moves, it's really going to move fast. And that's when you want to be positioned. I like this one here, Sezel. Having problems. I've mentioned this the last few sessions at that 100 level and poked above it today. It was up to 105 and closed at 101. But once it gets through there, it's riding the five, like a lot of the stocks that I'm showing you here, these stronger names. So every time it pulls back to the five, you buy it, then it gets a little extended. It's 3.9% above the five. You sell the rip and buy the dip. You continue doing that until the pattern changes. Chewy, another one on our list. Same thing here, riding the five, right? And this is why it's on the list, is showing relative strength. Once again, found support at the five like it did here. And the five's going up every day. So it got a little bit ahead of itself, 4.1% above the five, 3.9, then pulled back one day, and then now back up again today. So these are some strong stocks, and that's what I gravitate to anyway. All right. I just wanted to show, the data center, construction, energy, power plays. I've been highlighting these recently, and they're doing the same thing here where they've run up. This is Vistra. VST is a ticker symbol from 90 up, above 150 now on this date right here with the 13th. And now it's just been trading sideways for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, right? And just kind of going nowhere between 150, 155. That's fine. Allowing the moving averages to catch up. I don't know how long this is going to do this, but at some point we're going to have a day where quite possibly we have a nice shakeout and shakes all the weak hands out and then a rally higher. Or it just might, have a strong day on the index, 1 or 2%, and they'll all rally up. BRT, I've been impressed with this one. It's trading sideways as well. A lot of these stocks that I'm showing you are doing the same thing, but it's been able to hold above 100. And you can see that the 21 is still below the 100 here. So this one, I think, is going to need some time. But still looking good and consolidating in that type of pattern, which we like to see. I like to see anyway. Constellation, another one, just going sideways, man. This is just chart after chart that I'm showing you here, folks. I mean, this is bullish here to me. They're not crashing down here, right? They're not slicing their 21 and heading to the 50. They're just holding up, and the institutions are not selling these stocks. ROAD. I did put this one on the ready list. This is not ready because it's just like the rest of them. It's just, forming a shelf and needs more time. I mean, it could pop any day, who knows? But this is very bullish action in a lot of these names here. Quanta Services, PWR is another one. Uh, Trading sideways. This one pulled back. So this is a nice shakeout. There's nothing to be afraid of. It pulled back to the 21. It's shaking out the weak hands here down 3%. This is actually one to watch tomorrow for a bounce just back up into this shelf area. What did it pull back? Down to the 21, which is 320, 322 today. And now, if it gets back up into that shelf area around 340, 345, that would be a nice trade. At least I think, 330 to 345, $15. That would not surprise me. In fact, I expect it. The other one is STRL, Sterling, another one of these construction plays. Just forming this shelf. It didn't pull back to the 21 like Quanta, but just forming. It's in like a holding pattern here with these shelves and Jacobs Solution, same kind of thing, more like App Lovin kind of this bull wedge instead of going like in a shelf pattern. It's trading back in light volume, and that's what you want to see. Real quiet volume. Be quiet. Shh. You're in the library here. MTZ, this one did shake out to its 21 and shook some fools out and then found support and bounce. That's a nice bounce. So yeah. Yeah, and it was only down 2%. So it went down to the low is 145, closed at 150. Nice $5 move there. Yeah, and the 21 EMA was 145. So pull back right to it. And then yeah, nice. Nice action there in MTZ. There you go. At the morning, first half hour, 15, 20 minutes. And then buyers came in. So that looks pretty bullish to me for tomorrow. So power and MTZ could be good for trades. Another one I have on the ready list, this one is another one kind of like GEV where it just doesn't want to form a handle. I think eventually it will, but right around, below the 200 level, maybe just go sideways. And it doesn't have to be, 10 days. It could just be 3, 4, 5 days before it, is able to power through that 200 level. Now, some other names that I'm just going to show a random walk through some of the leaders here. Transmedics, once again, this same chart. One thing I like about Transmedics is the 5 and went through the shorter term moving averages, went through the longer term, and so did the 21. To me, that's a bullish sign. A lab, same thing. It's got this little shelf going here. I know it was up to 95, 94 today, went up 2%, but still kind of just trading sideways. But the 21 now is above the 200. And this to me looks like it's about go time for A Lab. Maybe not tomorrow, but on Friday, but maybe next week. And just a lot of these names. I'm actually going to go to the Mag 7, believe it or not. Tesla, same type of profile, right? Just trading sideways. A lot of these stocks look this way. NVDA, same thing. I believe this bodes well for these are what's going to drive the index higher. NVIDIA and Tesla. And those are all doing the same thing, of course, because the index looks like that. Those stocks are going to look like that. Coinbase moved pretty well. I showed this earlier with the move with Bitcoin was really rallying hard. Uber, I showed you this one earlier as well. And the last one I want to get to is CoreWeave. This one has just been rallying like a wild banshee. I have some friends that, I sold it today. I sold my last lot at 112. And I woke up in the morning, I saw it at 114. I said, that's kind of a gift. Normally it sells off in the morning and then buyers come in and it trades up. Today it was up like $5, $6. So I said, man, that's it. Adios. That's a gift. It's too much of a gift for me. And it did rally up, so I feel stupid. It went up to like 116 or something. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's okay. And then it sold off down to 100. And I was telling my friends, they're bought puts, I said that 100 level is going to be a 100, a psychological level where I think the bulls are going to put up a little bit of a battle. But once that cracks, I could see this one pulling back to, well, it's got a 5 EMA at what, 92. So yeah, I could see it trading down there. This is one hell of a strong stock. And it cracked today. I got to show you the 5 minute because it was rallying, rallying. Here's your gap at the open, right? It was up 112, and I'm out at that point. And it came down. I said, woohoo, I'm a genius. Then it rallied to 116. I'm going, oh, you're an idiot. But once I'm out, I'm out. I don't play that game. Just it was a good trade. I made some money. So that's the name of the game. But now it's sold off down to 100. And my friends who are short with puts are bragging. I'm saying, you got to be careful with this thing. It could certainly trade down to 100 and bounce. I think the bulls are going to have a little bit of a stand there. It's up to 102 after hours, and it's kind of opposite. When it's up in the morning, it trades down, and usually it's down in the morning, and then buyers come in. So maybe they'll get lucky tomorrow, and it'll trade down to its 10 to 92 or 93, and they can get out of that trade. All right. That's CoreWeave, just one of the big monsters of this, uptrend. We're in a strong uptrend, so don't be afraid of pullbacks. Pullbacks are happening. They're going to be good. Longer term, they're healthy. It gets the weak hands out, shakes out some of the excess froth. And we'll be resuming our uptrend here. And like I said, it goes in spurts. So, you wake up one morning and all of a sudden, we're going to have 1, 2, or 3% day on the index, and your stock's going to go up 6, 7, 8%. So hang in there, folks. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except for in honor of this great Steve Jobs. We stay hungry, we stay foolish, we stay humble, and we also like to follow the earnings reports. And I saw Autodesk here was up after hours, 2%, not bad. Did not see much of the report. I think they, barely, I shouldn't say barely beat. They beat on the top and bottom line. Once again, this same profile of this chart here just going sideways, right? Little bit of a bull wedge. So maybe it can break out tomorrow. The other one was Intuit. That one did have a good report and a good guide. So this is up nearly 6% after hours. Once again, just shelving out here. Yeah, we like that. What else reported tonight? Oh, Workday. Not so much here for Workday. I think that was getting humbled. Yeah, down 6% after hours. We'll see how it moves tomorrow, and I'll have more on these reports tomorrow morning. Decker's reported, and now you know why the CEO left after 6 years or 7 or 8 years. He left. He was only 54 years old, and he left in October, I believe, of last year. I think about right here. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Oh man, yeah. Adios, muchachos, huh? Right about here, maybe. He's going to pull the ripcord, get the golden handshake. Where is it? Yeah, late October here. Okay, 172, and now it's at 107. Okay, got that nice little fish hook here, and it's gonna take the bait and get swallowed. Anyway, 14% haircut. I shouldn't make fun. I did not hear the report. I just know that they guided down. I don't know if tariffs were involved because they certainly make a lot of their product in China and Vietnam. So anyway, Decker's going to get a little bit of a haircut tomorrow. Ross Stores reported down 11%. Another haircut for that one. And CPRT reported and down 4%. And the last one is Bull. Don't mess with the Bull. Yeah, I don't mess with stuff like this. It's these SPACs, I don't know what the hell drives the stock. There's no rhyme or reason, no sales, no return on equity, no nothing here. So it's down after hours, what, 3%. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. See you.